Hello, I would like to try something. I've been going through some old journals of mine, and in March of 2018, I had written a short essay that I was going to post on my travel blog, but for whatever reason, it never made it up there. And so I don't really want to bother with that. Since this is so much easier, I just set up my phone and push a button. I thought I would try reading it. So it starts off with a quote by the Buddhist meditation teacher Chogyam Trungpa. The quote is this: "If you haven't started the spiritual path, best not to begin. It's difficult, it's terrible, and you have to face all kinds of things that you won't like. As far as the ego is concerned, it is one insult after another." So here comes the essay. I'm going to add comments to it as I'm reading. The Course in Miracles speaks of sickness as a choice of weakness. The Course in Miracles speaks of sickness as a choice of weakness. I'm sure this upsets some people. If I wasn't so used to being insulted in this life, I probably would be too. Here's the larger quote from that book. Healing is accomplished the instant the sufferer no longer sees any value in pain. Who would choose suffering unless he thought it brought him something, and something of value to him? He must think it is a small price to pay for something of greater worth. For sickness is an election, a decision. It is the choice of weakness in the mistaken conviction that it is strength. When this occurs, real strength is seen as threat and health as danger. So that's the end of the quote. Here's me writing again. I could say the same of any confused state. I enter confused states when it's convenient for me to be confused. And I've written about this in my first book of the series. I become angry when it's convenient for me to be angry. Loneliness, anxiety, fear, it's all the same thing. But that's the view that I take. It's a pragmatic view. Pragmatic meaning the view leads to pragmatic outcomes. A pragmatic view isn't necessarily true in any objective sense. It's an attitude or a stance that one takes that leads to pragmatically, let's say, worthwhile outcomes. So anyway, that's the view I take. This view doesn't come with any guilt or self-berating when I'm not well, which would be a waste of time. Instead, this view comes with a method for moseying on over toward a position of strength and wellness from weakness and sickness. To facilitate this moseying on over, I often ask the same question. Question is, what do I gain by being sick, angry, lonely, anxious, fearful, in pain, etc.? In other words, what do I gain by this unwell state? And if I'm honest with myself, there's always a gain. Sometimes the gain is that I don't have to do actual work. Other times the gain is that I don't have to do something that scares me. I get to play it safe. It could be on a small scale, such as not having to write a negative review for someone, or it could be on a large scale, such as not having to end a relationship or career. By the way, I have a friend recently who finally quit a job that he's hated for a long while. Meanwhile, this friend managed to get a brain tumor and got it operated upon. And he still went back to the job. And he shared with me recently that he was thinking, in some ways, he secretly was hoping that his cancer would return. So that's the extent to which some of us are reluctant or unable to make a choice of, why don't I just quit this job that I hate so much? Because we can't fathom another reality, a life without it. Turns out he quit, and now he's working for minimum wage, mowing lawns, but for his favorite baseball team. Anyways, I think he's happier. So sometimes we need a tumor in the brain to cause us to move, to do the thing that we don't want to do. So yeah, having a tumor is convenient in that case, I would say, yeah? That's the gain. The gain is he doesn't have to do what he did. It took him a long while. I think I tried to convince him a year or two ago to do that, but he wasn't ready. Anyway, so back to the essay. If I do decide that the gain of being confused or angry or anxious or scared or in pain or sick isn't worthwhile, then I let it go and get on with doing what I've resisted doing. Usually the cover, that is the mental, emotional, or physical malady, is gone. Because that's its purpose, I would say. Let's see, we're about 5 minutes, 54 minutes in. That ends the first part of this essay. So I'll pause it there. I'll stop this video there.